So I've got some vintage for you guys today. This is an all vintage episode. Let's get it started. First up, I'm excited to have my very first Gaudi Premium. This is a 36 wide pen of Billy Werber. Billy Werber, he won a World Series in 1940 with the Cincinnati Reds. At that time, right, so he's pictured as a Boston player. So this is when he was with Boston, but he did win a World Series in 1940 with the Reds over the Detroit Tigers. So pretty cool. These are blank back. They're very thin. They're kind of like a, I guess like in Japanese card terms, kind of like a bromide. It's almost like a picture. Okay, let's look at some exhibits. I got some more exhibits in. This is a Bob Lemon. Now, of course, I've said it before and I'll say it again. It really irks me how lazily the grading companies date these. You can absolutely date them more precisely than, like, I think the slabs usually say 44, I think 44 to 66, 47 to 66 exhibits or something like that. But you can date them more precisely. This particular Bob Lemon card, based on its characteristics, I would say is probably actually more accurately a 51 to 53 issue. So I think this is really important because, to be honest with you, and it's also cool, whoever had this card back in the day, they kind of wrote some stuff on the back. So, of course, Bob Lemon, great Indians pitcher, Hall of Famer. Anyway, back to what I was saying. I really think the lazy way that the grading companies label these cards, date them, really contributes to like the relative lack of interest in exhibit cards. It's not to say that there isn't interest in them, but it's really vague, right? There are some very reasonably priced 50s Mickey Mantle exhibits that you can get for way cheaper than, say, his Tops or, other Mantle cards. And I think it's just because people are like, well, I mean, is this Mantle from 1953 or is it from 1965, right? So there's a big difference in what I'm willing to pay for a 66 Mantle versus a, 55 Mantle. Anyway, so here's another one. This is Dal Ennis, the Phillies outfielder. Pretty solid player. I think he had almost 300 home runs. Really nice image there. And this is, of course, another blank back. Really, the only exception to the blank backs on the exhibits are the stat backs from the early 60s. I think 62 and 63 came in stat backs. So how about, so here's one that you don't really see very often. Probably not too many have one of these. This is a 1954 Quaker Sports Oddities. And this is just a really cool card. This one is about, so they're about various sports, sort of fun facts or trivia, things like that. And this one is about Yankee Stadium, with a really nice image of the house that Ruth built on there. And I'll read the back for you. It says, the New York Yankees are famous for their home run hitters. Year after year, the Yankees come up with dynamite-laden batting orders like the famous Murderers Row or the feared Bronx Bombers. Yet never in history has any Yankee hit a fair ball out of Yankee Stadium. Never, in fact, has any player from any team ever smashed a fair ball hard enough to send it outside the Yankee Park. Its uncrossed walls have challenged the greatest sluggers of modern times, yet no one has ever met that challenge. It's odd but true. And I think subsequently there's a lot of people who, there are sort of apocryphal Mickey Mantle legends floating around that I think are baloney. Mickey Mantle hit a 650-foot home run out of Yankee Stadium, blah, blah, blah. No, he didn't. But that's okay. So, a really cool card here. Okay, the next one I'm super excited about. This is one you don't see very often. This is a 1910. I think this is officially the oldest card in my collection now. Super happy to have this. This is a 1910 T51 Murad cigarettes. And the subject here is actually Kentucky baseball. The baseball for the University of Kentucky. So the player on the front here is unnamed, and I don't think it is necessarily supposed to be a specific player, although if it is a specific player, that would be quite a nice research undertaking, I'd say. If somebody cared enough, they could probably do some scouring of the records and things like that, and maybe some old images, and try to find out who this player, actually is, if anyone. At any rate, Murad cigarettes. So these, this is the collegiate sports series. So this was a multi-sport set, and the set is actually notable for having some of the only pre-war basketball, football, etc. sets. Right, so of course pre-war baseball is pretty plentiful, but those other sports not so much. But these Murad cigarette sets are actually notable for having those sports in them. These came in 2 printings, basically. So there are actually 2 issues of this card. The second printings apparently say second printing on them. So I'll show you the back here. So that leads me to believe that this is in fact a first print, because I do not see second print anywhere on there. So anyway, really beautiful, man. This is just one where the camera, doesn't really do it any justice. It's got like this gold leafing on it, man. Beautiful. If you can get a Murad cigarettes, they're really not very pricey, so. Okay, one last thing. I got this really, really awesome Hostess box, King Don's Cakes. And this is an awesome Hostess box from 1975. This one is really cool because it's got 2 Hall of Fame hurlers on it. Of course, Bert Blyleven and Tom Seaver. So let me, this thing is in awesome condition. There's only one problem, and that's how I'm actually going to store, probably not display out openly, but store this thing. It's honestly, a lot bigger than I expected. That's what she said. So, as always, guys, thanks for watching. Peace.